Your Notion side menu might look like an endless list of pages, projects, and dashboards, but today I'm going to show you how to simplify it into something clean and effortless, just with 1 or 2 dashboards. When I started using Notion, my sidebar was a complete mess, and I wasted so much time scrolling through the pages that I didn't need. Now my setup is ultra minimal, and it saved me a bunch of time, because if you don't fix this, you'll keep losing time hunting for pages, getting distracted, and feeling overwhelmed. But with a simple Notion side menu, you can work with more focus and ease. Alright, so I've set up this fake side menu here. You can see books I'll never read, to-do list, projects, habit tracker, notes, holiday plan, report, calendar, downloaded, learn Spanish, write novel, and write new resume. So your side menu might look something like this, and we're going to simplify it as much as we can. So let's click on a new page here. Yes, we're adding another page, and we'll just call this dashboard. So right now, what you're doing here is separating everything into the side menu, which is just kind of wasting your time. So instead, we're going to have a simple dashboard which houses everything. The first thing is going to be our calendar. So I'll open up the calendar here, and here you can see a blank calendar. And I'm going to take this calendar here and just drag it straight into the dashboard here. So what I'll do is right click on calendar here and just do move to trash. Now this page here is going to have everything. So what I'll do is click on these 3 dots here and do full width. This dashboard is going to have everything we need in it. So at the top here, I have my calendar. What I'm going to do is right click here and do duplicate. And I'm just going to say week view. And I'm going to change this layout here and change it from show calendar as month to show calendar as week. That way I'm just seeing this week, but of course I can still see the month view here. But now the top of this dashboard is just a bit smaller. Now what I'll do is go to my to-do list. As you can see, I have a very extensive to-do list, and I'm going to take these and simply drag them into my dashboard once again. So I'll open up my dashboard here and I'll simply delete the to-do list. Now what I'm going to do is see this to-do list as a database. Now, there's a few ways of doing this, but I like to do it the lazy, smart way. So I like to do /data and click on table view. Now, instead of creating a new table, I actually want to see this database instead. So I'm going to click here. It's showing up in my recent. So I'm going to click here on calendar. And here I could say if I want it as a week view, as a calendar view, or I could say a new calendar view. I'll do that. It doesn't matter because we're going to change it to table. So as you see, it says calendar here, and it has this little arrow icon here. This arrow icon here just means that it's not the original database, it's linking to another database. So this is the original, and this here is just linking to it. So now what I'm going to do is take these tasks and simply drag them into there. So now my to-do list, which is this, is connected to my calendar. So hypothetically, if I say task 1 here and add that to today, it will now appear here in the calendar. Now, if you don't want to see the word calendar here, which makes sense because this here isn't our calendar, it's our to-do list, then what we can do is click on these 3 dots here and click on layout. And here we're just going to say show database title. No, I don't want to do that. Click that off. And now it no longer says calendar. And then we can rename this view here by right clicking and doing rename. And I can call this to-do list. Now, what's a to-do list without a checkbox? So I'll click on the plus here, scroll down and click on checkbox. And I'll just call this a spacebar. That way there's less stuff to read. Now I'll drag this to the side here, right click on tags as well and do delete property. So now I have my checkbox, I have the date, and the task is directly connected to the calendar as these are the same database. So I'll give this dashboard an emoji as well. Let's just do that. Why not? Now the next thing that I want to add is my projects. So if I open up my projects here you can see my very real, definitely not fake projects of project 1, 2, and 3. So what I'll do is, again, just drag these into my dashboard. Open up the dashboard and I can delete this projects page. As you can see, we're just trying to get this down to as short of a list as possible. The goal is to have everything in the one dashboard, the one page. There's less context switching, there's less searching, etc. Now this will be a new database. So what I'm going to do is / and write gallery. Click on gallery view here, and this here will be a new gallery. So I'll click on that. And this will be, you guessed it, the project. Now, because these are already pages in here, what I could do is simply highlight them, and I'll just drag them in here till I see that blue line. And they have now been added as pages in here. And whatever was in this page, there was actually nothing in these pages, but whatever is in them would show up in here as well. Now, these are quite large, so what I'll do is click on these 3 dots, click on layout, and here I'm going to change the card size from medium to small. So now we have our calendar, we have our task list, and we have our projects. Now, if we look at the side here, a lot of this stuff here is actually just projects. So books I'll never read. I'll drag this here. That's just a project here. So I'll rename this to books. My holiday plan, that is also just a project. So I can drag that in here. Learn Spanish, that's just a project. I can drag that in here. Write new resume, that is just a project. Write novel, again, that is just a project. Downloaded, by the way, is just when I test out my template, so we can ignore that. Then we have the reports. Again, I can drag that in here. That's simply just a project. Now with the habits and notes, there are a few ways of doing this, but I like to call this workspaces. So what I'll do here is create a new gallery actually. Click on gallery view once again, and we will do new gallery. And this here will be workspaces. So I can take my habit tracker and drag that in here. Same thing with notes, drag that into here. So now as you can see, the only thing we have on the side here is the dashboard. Again, this page here is just when I test out my templates. So I'll close the side panel. Now we have our calendar, we have our to-do list, we have our projects, and we have our workspaces. And what I'm going to do is help you out with the notes and the habits as well. So right now, a lot of you might have your habits as a separate page. We don't want that. We want to have as much as we can in the one dashboard and ideally in the one database. What I'll do is click here on the down arrow next to this new button and click on new template. So I'll call this habit, but of course you can call this running, you can call this reading, whatever you want, but this will be your habit that you want to do every day. And of course you can add an icon. Let's just keep the heart emoji and I'll click away. So now when I click on this plus button and click on habit, this here will come up. Now what we're going to do is scroll down and go to our habit tracker, and we are going to do /data and click on table view, and we will not create a new table. Instead we will click on our calendar database. So I'll click there. Now as you can see, it's showing me all the different entries in here. I have task 1, task 2, task 3 and habit. And what we're going to do is filter by the name, and I only want to see habit. So anytime I do this habit, it will show up in here. And if I click on calculate, I can do count all. So now it is going to add up automatically every time I do this habit, aka it is my habit tracker. But instead of having it as a separate thing I have to go to, it's just built into my to-do list. On Wednesday, I wake up, I do my habit, click there, it's automatically now being collected in my habit tracker. Open that up, as you can see, it's sitting in there. It's a really efficient way of working. Now the last thing we want is notes. So how are we going to quickly capture notes? Well, what I'll do is at the top here, do / and do a button. And what we are going to do is create a separate database. Now you could do notes as a task, but it's just not a very smart way of working. So instead, I'll open up the notes here and do a new database. So I'll click on table view once again, click on new table, and I will call this notes. Very, very creative of me. And now I'll click away. So I've now created this database in here in the notes page. And what I want for this button is when I click on new note, so when new note, when that button is clicked, then here I'm going to select the action that happens. And what I want to do is to add a page to, and now I have to select which database I want that page added to. So if you're very new to Notion, these things here are referred to as items, but they're also referred to as pages. So an item is a page. It gets a bit confusing that way. So here we'll select the database, and as you can see, it shows up in my recents. So I'll click here on the notes. I can also add a default if I want, but I don't want that. Now the next step is crucial. You will click on add action and you will click on open page. Now here on open page, you have to select the new page added. So basically when we're clicking this button, we're creating a page. So I'll click here on that, and now I'll click on done. So now I have my calendar, which is connected to my tasks. I have my projects in here, and I have my workspaces with my habits, and I have my notes. So let's create a note. I'll click on new note. I'll do blah, blah, blah. This is blah. And I'll click away. I've now taken that note. And if I ever want to see it, I scroll down, click on note, and here I can see blah, blah, blah sitting in there. I now have a dashboard that handles absolutely everything, and we've emptied our Notion side menu. Now, if you want all of this set up for you so you don't have to do any of the work, then check out Headquarters. It's my premium Notion template. It handles absolutely everything you can need all in the one page. It's got over 2,000 users and a 5-star rating. Click on this video here to check out the full tour. Thanks for watching.